20 seconds. Okay. I'm on. This is my next reading. I'm Sandro Fermo, Sandro ERmindo Fermo for some, and this is my next reading. And here it goes. That's my front door. And here I am. Hopefully it won't be cancelled. I go straight at it. April 27, 2009. I took my meds. I suffer from chronic schizophrenia, a little bit of multi-personality disorder. I tried to kill myself twice in December. And I gotta wash myself around here. And even in Canada, you have to do the same thing. And even in the States and wherever you live. So, please bear with me. I'll get it. I'll go through this bit with my meds. But I wrote this in 2009, and here goes. The softening appraisal of both Mercurian McCarthyism and a bagel will correlate and commission a higher, somewhat brutal infliction of realistic spirituality that is embedded within our naturality, and only prevails from awkward worth, while their piercing nails and heavenly touch is a more somewhat practical conception of the warden's truth and the absolving tent that glorifies its own multimedial acuteness with a rewarding pensive flinch. That is the omnipotent directory towards intellectual superiority, often without that rewarding democratic conception of such bountiful misdirections. The consolution, then, of well-merited sanctification. I'm not a saint. I smoke, drink, and everything. I'm not a saint. They try to turn me into a saint. It's preposterous. Lies within our soulless retardation, residing within our soulless retardation, that is admirably built up by some docile, peace-loving pup, which I am. That is well snug within its flea-bitten rug, while the abrasive immediacy involved in the resurrective reality is the proper inducement of our Catholic beguilement. The only resolute demand we have is of our lands, that must not choose the narrow particularity of formulative one-sided simplicity. For the social structures of pluralized ebbs of immediate ideological tangled knots and black spiders' webs, can only then through the crucifixion's partition of choice and often economical difficulties become the morning sound within our participative particularities. Then that sigh of fashionable condescension, with a dab of moralizing deceptions, shall be obstructed by what should have been noticed when we gave the weed away to a conservative locust. I'm obsessed with this Mulrooney bluesing thing, and way back in '91, it's part of my obsession. But you know, we have to go onwards. That's where I block myself. My mom is I'm schizophrenic, traumatic. It's a trauma thing that I cannot get rid of. But I'm writing other stuff that revolves around other things. Trailing behind with the losing kind is then gloriously uplifted by what cannot apparently be shifted. That sorry defamation of such needy aspects of imaginative starvation. I'm well fed here, but once, I had to go to the food can, the soup cube, and I hung out with guys like that. I know what it's like. May 6, 2009. The eternal. Shored. The eternal produce from the allocate distribution of bitter expectations are lovely and often quartets, any rock groups, undertaking towards privatized explanations. No, I do not want to be a rock star. The long-suffering attribute of procrastinate cultural and intellectuality is often immersed within so-called fun-loving societies. The benchmark of both a Slavic tiger, a Slavic Igor, and an apparent globalized fathoming, Al Gore, a globalized fathoming by Al Gore, will enrich the tapestry, but I don't know, the tapestry of a mosaic stitch with a more apparently open-minded pitch. That over that enriched measure of offsprings with particular ideas of a weird king and a branding recall of spontaneous fall over that grandiose epic-like formality involved in dealing with absurd particularities. Singing silly love songs, it's not that coda building thing, the Beatles curse bullshit routine. Singing silly love songs while getting up before dawn, and then nostalgically moving an imitative lawn, predicting our ducks savoring, or yellow ducks savoring some rancid fuck, while correlated and adjacently fantasizing about expected associations. It's like, I imagine a group, an old band group, soul group, like a funk group, called the Associations. Before fate and pleasant winds and sighs regarding our petty flirtations, I would have you understood then that often sexual mismanagement is as well an authoritative lament. Between the pauper and the jester, between the king and the faker, with that realistic reappraisal of even Gettysburg's red maple, the demoralizing morale that an individual might get from this silent and the secret pal is gifted within the understandings of morbid satanic-like branding of a lovely sportive root of a musical puff and toot, of a reinvigorative beauty involved in analytical intrusiveness within that difficult path of rhetorical forgiveness. This is when I came back. Thank you, Julia Roberts. The conforming aspects of both jackasses and derelicts will individualize the often manipulated wise with that triumphant haunting incalculable brains of the majority's taunting of referable grandiosity that is then hardened by an illuminative possibility that is within our idiosyncratic quality. With that customary appreciation of often valueless gratification that is well grounded within what abridgment of different cultural fulfillments did. That must be the contamination of theatrical enjoyment within the sociological analysis of often even Freudian matriarchal paralysis. That is only stagnant and abortive when our needs of healthy, criminate negativity gives way to the more formal evocation of realizing that we're not all divinities. Regarding our education, the disconnection then revolves from apprehensive tension, that is then reliable when one is out of trouble, then it's bestiality of our inner normality. I'm not Al Pacino while I'm reading this. Nor am I the Godfather. Must then be only freed from more dismal deeds with the appreciative process involved in our perturbing recess, and I'm in Italy, but I write in English. There is then perturbing recess. Girl fight, ladies. Don't mention them. There is then anguished on the participative sustainment of anti-constitutional abhorrence that is clarified then for our legalized manufacturing of statuette breaching of only despair and malfunction. When we will ever learn this, our very essence is rupturing. This is being proper and neat, boring, and as Keats, and that is that in a massive aggressive nurturing we are deploring. The only way that out apparently is voting, and the only way in is then a plausibility sin. Plausibility sin. You understand that? Plausibility sin. What do I mean by that? A plausibility sin. Sometimes the truth may seem to be the truth. This plausibility thus becomes a sin because it's not the truth. The only true, correct inkling lies within a sinking Hollywoodish advancement towards a redemptive enhancement regarding the pacification of our awkward associative personification that is dutiful nonetheless, but who breaches mistrust with this silent caress. Why, it's our need of systematic disorder on air. That is like a Siamese twin wailing with walking with a black cat under a superstitious ladder that allows. There's nobody here. Apparently, I'm releasing Bushian information. You can't kill me for this because it would be murder. And I always see Bush around me since I was obsessed with it at the time. It was just an hallucination, we'll say. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Under a superstitious ladder that allows out the trimmed red meat of a foreseeable slaughter that involved in the hindrance of arrogance of a bargaining table, of a bargaining sense of the tense, the hereafter. When the prophet of adversement, side of, I see like my black cataract now, like I'm sorry to say that. My black cataract seems to be saying I shouldn't be writing this down, but freedom, I'm in Italy, I'm allowed to write whatever hell I want to write down. When the prophet of adversarial side effects, that is conjunction towards the negligence of surely tinted bets, then there shall be an uncompromising measure, while the proficiencies of our favorite absentees shall lawlessly perform an investigative politeness regarding one's petty likeliness towards a baptismal lecture, while undressing Luther, Mr. Spacey, with a minted smoke that upon our dreary, vice-ridden depths does choke. Superman. Then the actualizing discomfort of who may get hurt, which is me, because sometimes they induce cerebral hemorrhages, heart attacks, whatever. Then the actualizing discomfort of who may get hurt revolves around the sacred sense of our sound pulsating with rhetorical splendor within our hidden wonder, not wonder bred Alice. Gee, that was rough. While the skies of the bonded wise will theologically correct the spent forces of blunted and yet gallant horses. Blunted means the blunted aspect of schizophrenic. This is all schizophrenia, so they'll never believe you. Beautiful. If this was an orange, it would be a beautiful orange rind. But we'll trod upon the glorious lands of many a humanistic stand. There's only perfected when our cultural capacity is neglected. That with that vast landscape of the pillaged and raped, Viking-like self-loathing stubbornness regarding our panoramic, minuscule ruggedness. Minuscule is also, it's not a phallic referral. The thorough of a credible rise and fall regarding empirical dreariness involved in the converted states of times of our religious sturdiness that must thrash towards the divided sense of a shared undertaking that often our individuality is branding. I sort of like Menage a Trois type curse. I'll take two at a time. You wish you can. You want to look at my body? Want to see my body? That's my stomach. I'm wearing an Australian recycled can sweater. And this is how I look like in shorts in the month of April in Italy. I'm not going to mention the pound. Small pound doesn't mean anything. It's solid, so I guess I should be smoking a cigar and having a big glass of whiskey with Joe Pesci. I'll just see how many minutes are left. I was only joking then. 12 minutes, so I got a couple more. It goes up to 20, or around the states of adolescent scrutiny. And then you drop out or you drop in. And some weird guy, some nutcase said, drop out, tune in, and drop out. Whatever you meant. That was nuts. You never leave school. And once you leave school, you never get late, unless you hit the streets and the pavement or work where there's girls. There's some girls and chicks. I have the CMHA, Canadian Mental Health Association. And here I have the CHIM, a place out of Ontario that I go to often. And I suffer from acute paranoia. And when they give me the shot, I feel better. But that's no symbolic, metaphorical, like, shot in the dark type thing. I don't know, pussycat. The civic duty of informative processes are the casual and yet hard and soft rationale of an infinite role. It sounds like a female breath, doesn't it? English. That provides energy for the apathetic brains on like coal in the ravaging beauty of the often monstrous burden of getting rid of our multi-personality trait.